Testing 1, 2, getting ready to rock and roll, everybody.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square. You're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good morning, everybody. Welcome to Fort Myers Beach. Peach Time Out. We're in the indoor studio today. We're broadcasting live from Pete's all morning long. Want to say hello to everybody out there watching on the Facebook and listening live on all the assorted podcast apps.
Assorted?
Oops. Sorry, dear. Got to turn the microphone on. There you go.
Assorted or sorted?
Assorted
Okay.
podcast apps or whatever's out there. We have a killer show as we get ready to close down the year and start a political season here on Fort Myers Beach. And the last half hour was interesting. If you didn't get a chance to listen to the interview I did at 8:30, well, the video's up there now on the Facebook. I got to interview I like to interview a new podcaster before the show at 8:30. And I could have gone on for 2 hours with Anthony Raimondi, who was an enforcer with the Colombo crime family back in the 70s in New York City. And he's written a book called When the Bullet Hits the Bone that I read in 2 days this week. And 10 podcasts are out. 10, what do you call them? 10 episodes of the podcast called The Enforcer are also out. And you should listen to that. So
that's what you did with your time all week? You were just reading?
I was reading and listening. And once you find something.
You were cranky this week. That must have been why.
I was cranky.
Yes.
You were tad cranky when you came back from visiting from Jillian, but I let that one roll right off my back.
Well, I was tired.
Yeah, okay, whatever. You were mad at me because you say I don't answer my phone. Then
Yes,
this morning,
that's right.
This morning, I do my 50 miles on my bike, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for you, and I called you 6 times, and you didn't answer the phone at all.
That's because I was driving, and some lady went through the red light at the hospital.
Okay, whatever.
And
Spare us the
kaboom.
details. We're getting into Forrest's time here.
Okay.
His paid time. No, he's not paying for time. I'm just kidding. This advertisement was not approved by Forrest Kritzer, but you could have at least texted me before you left the house saying, I'm leaving, I'm on my way, or something.
What am I, 12?
Well, so I'm calling you thinking you're still asleep because that's never happened before.
When
never.
have I ever not shown up here?
Ladies and gentlemen, live from down the street on Estero Boulevard. Is that where you live, sir? On Estero Boulevard?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Otsego Drive.
Otsego Drive,
No,
or Otsego.
Otsego. I know.
See, I'm going to say Otsego, and I'm going to say Krister.
We're from Otsego County
That's right.
in New York, so we have to flip those letters.
Now, Forrest, you're running for council. Again, I ask everybody the same question. I don't know why. That's not really a question. But first question for you is, how did you come up with the name Butch?
Well, that came up because I was pig-headed in Kentucky. I did the absolute opposite what my parents requested me to do, and that's the best thing they could come up with, I guess, at the time, and that was Butch. And it just kind of stuck with me because Forrest is my given name with 2 R's, and Butch is a lot easier.
Now, Forrest, was it before the movie or after the movie? It was before the movie. So they stole the name from you, not the other way around.
That is correct. There's 5 generations of Forrest in Henderson County.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I was looking you up, doing my research, and there's a lot of Kritzers up there.
That is correct.
And
yes.
what part of Kentucky is it?
It's western Kentucky. We're right on the Ohio River across from Evansville, Indiana, 2 hours from Louisville. Yeah.
Nice.
And
it's Louisville, not Louisville.
Now, you've been down here in Fort Myers for how long?
15 years.
Okay, because you still got the accent from up south there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't lose that. That's that was my home. Not anymore.
Now, the first question about the election: why are you deciding to run for a town council?
Well, I got interested in town council or got interested in town government about 7 years ago. Been here 15, but we was busy building a church at the time and building a community of believers and at Beach Baptist Church, and we're just very active. And then as things smoothed out, I was asked to go to a leadership conference put on by the Community Resource Action Board, which is known as CRAB.
Right.
and went to that and saw I was just enlightened about town business and how things are operating. And the council went through a trying time in those years, and I watched that and I says, these are people, there's something wrong here. We all live on this island, and we're all islanders. We have to agree to disagree. And when the decision is made, then we have to unite together. I was a bivocational minister when I was in Kentucky, and I worked for the Green Valley Baptist Association. And I was sent out whenever there was a church that had a conflict. And the church might split because of the color of the carpet or the shape of the pews or no chairs or whatever it was. It was usually not very much it takes for it to have a disagreement. Mm-hmm. And sometimes pastors would take their congregation that was for them and take off and leave the one sitting still. And so I would go in and nurse those two congregations. And, we've always said that, when we divide, we conquer. And so we always tried to take a church that was like that and then bring them back up to full status again. And I would go on to the next one. So kind of got the tag of being a peacemaker.
So, Forrest, if people of God can't get along, how do you really expect people that are in politics to ever get along?
Well, we find that people of God can get along, maybe not in the same room. We have a saying as pastors go when we go into the meetings, there is a verse that says, where there are two or three gathered together in thy name, I will be in your midst. Well, when pastors get together jokingly, they say where there's two pastors together with a pastor and an assistant, and you throw in a deacon or you throw in a trustee or you throw in, most of all, the chairman of the finance committee, there's confusion.
Gotcha.
So you have to work through those things in a loving manner. And so I got into politics because I saw a need of leadership, for one, of course, and a need to bring people back together to understand why we're really here. A small community of approximately 7,000 with 6,000, and I'm, round numbers, of voters are on this island. It's 7.5 miles long with 7 churches. That's kind of amazing in and of itself. But the thing is, we have to get along with each other. And controversy is good for the papers. Controversy is good for talk because it makes people think. But when the decisions are made, then decisions have to be taken at what it is and get on about business. I love this beach. I came across that bridge in 2003. I was still at work. My wife was here visiting my son, and I was coming down the next day on Friday the 14th, and I got a call from Delta, and Delta says, Mr. Critcher, if you want to go to Fort Myers, you got to leave on Thursday because Friday the airport's going to be closed because they got a hurricane coming in. Mm-hmm. That hurricane name was Charlie.
Ah.
Oh, wow.
And so
yeah.
I says, well, I've got to get down there because, I've been married at the time. It was only about 35 years. Now I've been married going on 52 years. So you see, I obey well. So not only did Delta, my wife said, get on down. So I climb on the plane and come down. We come over that bridge. I said, pinch me. I love to fish. I fished for years at Kentucky Lake and Barkley Lake and never been in the ocean. I've seen the ocean, but never been in it. And it was just amazing. And I was here on the island a total of 2 hours because my son was having a meeting with his mother and father-in-law and my wife. And they said, we got to leave the island. I don't know why. They just got a storm coming in. I'd love to watch it, my son said. And I says, I'm here. Let's do it. And the girls said, no, we're leaving. So we ended up at Alico Arena. I'm sorry.
Wow.
And so I emceed the tornadoes that come through to my hometown in Kentucky, WSON radio station.
Oh, wow. Look at you. That's why you're so good at this, because you're filibustering just a little bit. I'm trying to get in more questions here.
You asked me.
Your first answer can't take 30 minutes for us. So now, come on now.
Let's go.
Short bullet points.
Short points.
To be fair, he did say to me, that he was going to let you direct it. And I said, well,
he's not really letting me direct
it.
now. He's taking over the show.
I said to him,
I know who a fill-in's going to be.
Fill in.
No. So,
know.
Forrest, let me ask
Go
a
ahead.
question. All right, now. So you ran once before.
Yes, sir.
3 years ago, 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
How was that campaign? I mean, that was right in the middle of the Margaritaville debate, too, right? That was
That is correct. It was a rough time for the council, and they were going through some trying times, and so I saw it as the opportunity to maybe help and heal, because that's my goal. I mean,
I do a lot of that too.
yeah. When I was in the service, I was in Vietnam.
You were.
I went through five of us went through from basic to AIT on to Vietnam.
Did you ever hear of Anthony Raimondi?
I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
It's a long story.
And anyway, while I was in AIT, they knew I was a Christian, and I worked with the chaplains, and they tagged me as preach, and they thought, well, this is going to be something that we can get him, because he ain't gonna be called a nickname. So I said, that's all right. I said, I'll take that tag. Well, when we got to Nam, my nickname Preach went through the whole rifle committee and company. And they came to me and talked, and we talked to be able to get through a lot of things together in difficult times. So that's why I ran for council. I thought, well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a philanthropist that has a big business. I retired from Sears and Roebuck after 18 years in management. I ran my own business.
So what happened in that election?
Successfully.
What happened in that election? Like,
What happened in that election? I carried the two precincts downtown,
okay,
and I lost the precinct on the south end to Joanne Champ,
okay,
the person that knows the comp plan back and forth
Yeah.
from memory.
yeah,
Mhm,
She's a
mhm.
great member of this beach.
Right.
She'd been here a lot longer than I had, and she lived on the south end along with one of my best friends and church members, Bruce Butcher.
okay.
So what are you going to do this time to?
Right, you got
Kinda-
6 people running now for 3
Yeah.
seats.
Well, how are you going to?
Well, how am I going to make the difference?
Now
Yeah,
listen, when
I'm
you go
gonna-
door to door, you can't be spending 30, 40 minutes talking to people you got to
I
keep it
don't-
short.
I don't talk to those people. I listen.
Okay.
I go to a door
Ooh,
and knock and
good.
listen to what they have to say and what their issues are on
Yeah.
the beach, and try to tell them what I would like to see happen. And I would like to see, and that's what you want, so I'll give it to you, is
Right.
I am a person come from a business background.
Well, you can't give everybody everything, though.
You're exactly right. But you can give them a way of life that all people will be able to adjust to. Things change.
Yeah. So
constantly.
let's do some bullet points here now.
Okay.
You're in favor of Margaritaville.
I'm sorry.
Are you in favor of Margaritaville?
I don't like that term, be
Okay.
in favor or against anything. I am again a peacemaker. I look at Margaritaville as something that would be beneficial to the island
So you would have voted yes.
because it is I am pro business.
Would you have voted yes when it came up?
I believe I would have voted yes.
I'm not feeling solid on that.
No,
but-
because I wasn't there.
To hear all the
I wasn't
stuff.
there. I had to take everything at weight. In government, you have to listen to all the people and what they have to say. And there is pros and cons and everywhere you get. But you see, we have a council that has approved a business on this island,
Right.
an investment to the well-being to keep us going. So we need to listen to our people. There's a lot of people on that council and in our town that we have hired, and we pay them a lot of money to do that job. So we need to let them do their job and listen to them.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to your finger? Can I
The
ask?
short version, a
All right.
dog ate it.
Seriously?
Oh wow.
When I
Dog
was
bit it off?
When I was 3 years old.
Wow.
No, he didn't bite it off. I had a playhouse made out of a jukebox, and a kid and I were playing together, and his dad owned the radio shop. I put my finger in the hand so he wouldn't break the glass. He broke it anyway. He
Oh.
threw it down, so we take the end, fed it to the dog. My mother runs out the house, runs to the emergency room, which was 4 blocks away, and my godfather wrapped it up and took me to the doctor. I'll never forget the story because the doctor says, well, where's the end? We might be able to put it back on. And I said, the dog ate it. And that was the story.
You just made that up, didn't you?
No, sir.
Okay.
Last
How
story.
could you make
I
that
know.
up?
Look at
that's
some
crazy.
of my sermons. You'll see it.
You sure you don't know Anthony Raimondi? Man. So the other What? The other thing that I want to ask you about was, are you in favor, or would you have been in favor? I'm trying to word it the right way so you don't say in favor or not in favor of raising taxes.
Well,
When I ran, in 2000 and what was it, 16, that question was asked to us in one of the forums. And there was some that says they were against it and for it, and one of the town council members that's on town council today said, of course, and that person was very knowledgeable of the beach. And they came to me, and I made a statement, and it was my first time in politics in that manner. And the question, would you raise taxes? And I says, ma'am, or sir, I'm sorry, it was a man that was moderating. I said, sir, he says, I'm from Kentucky, and I'll never forget it because I got a tongue lashing afterwards. I says, if you was in Kentucky and you raise taxes, the first thing they do is grab a hold of you, tar and feather you, run you out on the rail and hang you to the nearest tree. Well, afterwards, this council member come to me and says, Butch, I tell you, I'm for you and I'm going to vote for you. But that was not a very good answer for a Christian.
I see.
And she says, I know you are, and you didn't mean it, but there's people listening that don't know who you are. Right. So watch what you say on the radio and watch what you say in public. Well, of course, I'm not for higher taxes. And that's one of the reasons that Margaritaville can help us out on this island.
That's right.
Government, I've never seen a government take off taxes. I'm from an age where there was no sales tax. And they said, we're going to make sales tax 3%. And as soon as we get this built up, we're going to take that off. So come on, Kentucky, get along the board. So we did. Then it went to 4%. Then it went to 5%. Then it went to 6%. It hasn't ever come up.
Right.
Believe me, government's not going to take a tax on once they get it on.
I think you're going to have a problem when you run for election. You're too logical, and that doesn't work with politics.
I am my own person. I am running this race not for me, but for the average citizen here in Fort Myers Beach. And I want to appeal to them and to their conscience and let them understand you can't always go on your emotions. Mm-hmm. You have to talk it out. That's what people do.
So do you think, I'm not letting you ask any questions. You're just sitting here looking beautiful, by the way. You're all, even after running 18 miles like you did this morning. Yeah, I mean, look at the two ugly dudes on Facebook.
Well, let me ask one.
Go right ahead.
So you've talked about some of the issues that are of interest to you and in your background. We've had a lot of people come on and talk about the water issue too. How do you feel about dealing with the environmental things that kind of combat the beach every once in a while?
Water is a complex issue. We know that. Mm-hmm. We have the big wigs are working on that in government, and we have to voice our support. Water is the most important asset we got at Fort Myers Beach, except the sand. Of course, because they love our white sands. But we have definitely got to get on board with water. I was three weeks ago. I was I had a client. I have two pieces of property that I take care of now, besides working at the church, and not my property. I manage. And they checked in they were from Sweden, barely spoke English, but enough that I could speak to them and introduce them to Times Square and the restaurants to go to and that kind of thing. And left, and they were fine. They couldn't wait to get into the ocean.
Oh boy!
Well, about 4 weeks ago is when we had that red tide scare again. Right. Well, it was blitzed on the radio, on the television. They heard it that night, so they got their Google. They Googled and they saw what red tide is and this and that. And we didn't have that big problem on our beach. Our water was safe.
Yeah.
But because of what they heard all the way down the beaches, they says, we're going to the East Coast. I'm sorry, we want to check out. We'll pay you for the time we stayed here, or you can take our whole rent. Well, I didn't do that. I said, folks, we want you to come back to Fort Myers Beach. We're a hometown friendly place to visit, and I'm going to refund your money. Wow. Because I don't have you because we want your money. We want you here to show off our showcase. We're going to have a place that is going to be unbelievable when people come. It's not going to be a Fort Lauderdale. It's not going to be a Daytona Beach. We're going to have our white sand. We're going to have our water that the people can play in, but we have got to do all that we can for clean water. Support it as much as possible.
Okay, back to the bullet point questions. Do you think this current council is doing a good job?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I have to.
Don't say you're
yeah.
sorry. If they are,
Well,
they are.
I know they are. It's not a controversial issue. So yeah, but
Do you think the town manager is doing a good job?
I think that we have some issues, not with the town manager, but with the town in general in the way that is going. That's one of the reasons I'm running for council, is that I feel like we need to have our hometown feel again, like I felt when I came over that bridge in 2003.
Okay.
You know, I want that feeling that oh, I can talk to you, I can ask you something. It's not cut and dry. We need to have, I'm glad to see that out on the beach. Now, we had people riding around with enforcement on the back of their shirts, running around, and we've got guests from Sweden, France, Italy. You know, they're coming from countries where they are oppressed, they're forced to do certain things, and we have a free nation under God. We should have that freedom.
Are they oppressed in Sweden?
I don't know about Sweden.
Yeah.
But I know here we feel like I feel like I'm walking on pins and needles. I watch my speedometer not at 28 or 30 in the morning anymore. I watch it at 26 or 27. You better dodge the trolley shots in town, because if you don't,
So back to the shirts. The shirts didn't used to say enforcement. They used to say something else. That's what you're getting at.
right, and they're going back to it.
They are? If you're elected, you mean?
No, even now.
Oh.
See, this council.
Why does it take so long to buy a new T-shirt?
They're waking up. They're waking up. They're waking up.
Are you
okay?
waking them up?
I'm trying.
So-
But not only me, there's a lot of people in town that feels like they're being
Targeted. Say it.
no, not they're not targeting any one certain person. It is a community, okay? So I'm standing cleaning up some brush
Uh-huh.
at a piece of
How
property.
dare you?
A truck comes by
Yeah.
and stops.
Yeah.
Beach patrol.
You didn't have a permit
It
to
was-
clean
it was
up
a
that
pic-
brush.
No, he stopped and was watching me. So, you know, when somebody's watching me, I'm a talker person. I'll talk to him. I want to know.
No,
Kidding.
not you.
Really? Wow.
So I said, can I help you? He said, you the owner of this property? And I says, no, sir. He says, well, I've been told I need to watch this driveway, because if there's a lot of cars here, I'm going to write, you're going to get a violation. And I said, why? He says, because you can't rent this property. And I said, well, sir, you're talking to the wrong person, because I'm not the first person. I'm the second person. You want something, you need to talk to the man in charge. That's the owner. Well, we had already paid, $175, and we know what our rentals in that particular community is.
Right.
But he was trying to fill his oats a little bit. He should have been more hospitable.
Right.
I'm with code enforcement, and I'm just driving around doing my job. And how are you doing today? No,
Right.
he wanted to beat me over the head right off the bat.
That's baloney.
He wanted to pick up
You
one
need
of
to
those
change
sticks
that.
you were trimming
That's
and
right.
hit you
You
with
need
it.
to have more like
friendly staff.
the Disney attitude.
Well, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. I
So
like that.
so let's get back to the town manager. Not that I have a thing for the town manager or anything like that. I'm just asking a question. He gets paid $180,000 a year. You think that's a little too high?
I'm not on the finance committee, and I'm not on the pay scale for other.
Yes, if
any
we
of
were
that. I don't
shooting
know what it
if
is.
we were shooting the breeze.
Yeah, but I'll say this
Yes.
for about Roger. Okay, he is a employee.
Yes.
He is a employee of the town council.
Right.
The town council put him there.
Yeah.
So you can't lay all the blame.
No, take it
on
if you can
Roger.
get it.
Sir.
He's in Belize right now. Take it if you can get it. If they're willing to pay you that money, right?
That's right. I mean,
Tracy rammed it through on
yeah,
the last
somebody
council.
wanted to pay me to come down here. I'd come down, but I'd come anyway. 'Cause I'm
Right,
like,
right. So
yes.
we're running out of time already. I mean, so
Run out of time. We just got started.
I know we have to have equal time according to the FCC. So the other issue that I wanted to ask about was I completely forgot. But what are your top 3 issues?
My
gonna be?
top 3 issues.
Do you need your
is-
paper there? I don't want to.
No,
All
well,
right.
I shouldn't need it as much as I read it, as much as I stayed up last night worrying about coming and talking to
Oh,
you.
look at that.
Aw.
That's crazy. If we knew we were going to make you nervous, we wouldn't have had you on.
I spent more time getting ready to talk to you than I do on the Easter or Christmas service, which are the two most important services of the year in church.
Now I'm going to hell. I know I'm going to hell. I cannot believe that.
Okay. Government light. That's what our town was
Praise the Lord.
was what it was based upon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Anita and that bunch put it together in the very beginning, government light. Every year, government seems to get bigger and bigger. And as it grows, expenses grow.
Right.
We don't need all that here. We need to have a community that loves the people. Jokingly, when we came here at Fort Myers Beach, there was 12 people in this church that I met at Beach Baptist Church, okay? Beach highly caffeinated because we have a mission in Guatemala. Get me on the radio another time.
I know.
I'll talk to
I
you
know.
about
Yeah.
Well, I talked to your son about it.
I
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah. It
talked
was
to you
great.
too.
It was great.
But anyway, so you made me lose my start
Well,
talking
so
about
all
Guatemala.
right. So that's your first. That's your
Right.
first one. What's your other two?
Okay, government. All right,
Government
Government
light.
light.
It is bringing the people together.
Okay.
I want to bring the beach back together. People have gotten a bad rap for or against. If you want to use Margaritaville, use
Right.
it. You know, for or against that. And the
So
town-
reduce the divisiveness.
Re-
Right.
Reduce-
Big bonfire
You know-
somewhere. We're all going to eat, drink some
Kumbaya.
It's
schnapps.
been voted on.
Yep.
It's approved. It's going to come. I'll tell you one thing I have a problem with, and that is with people after it's been approved, they still want to fight it.
Right.
You know, if they want to fight it, that's their constitutional right to fight and whatever.
Like
they
Uncle
think.
Bob down the street. Like, what would you,
Well,
if you were,
what
you're
I-
a peacemaker, you have to talk into the
sorry.
microphone there. If you were a peacemaker and you decided you after the show, you're going to walk down to the Lonnie Kai and knock on Uncle Bob's door and talk to him about this, what would you say to him?
What would I say to him?
Yeah.
I've talked to him
Yeah.
at the barber shop, which is the best place to meet, by the way.
That's right.
And we had a
What time do
conversation.
you two go
He's
get your hair
gonna
cut?
answer the question.
I just want to maybe pop in one time.
There you go. I don't know when he does it, but I've met him there. And an interesting individual, to say the least. Doesn't say too much in public. He lets the other people do the talking for him. But I catered to Lonnie Kai. We took four people up to Thanksgiving buffet they had up there. And
So you would say to him about Margaritaville what?
I would say, it's here, buddy. You don't know how great that's going to be for the Lonnie Kai. Your rent is you're going to be able to increase your rent because competition brings more people, there's more residents that need to have. And, you know, if you want to fight it, fight it. But here's what I feel about that fight, okay? And I wasn't even supposed to say that, but I'm going to because it's my heart talking. That's why I'm running, because it's me, not somebody else. It's me running, okay? That's a main thing I want everybody to know. It's Forrest Butch Kritzer, and Butch is on there because that's what they know me by. I want them to know what I feel is that if a citizen of Fort Myers Beach wants to fight Margaritaville and come up after the town has already approved it, that's fine, but they should have to burden the cost of what it cost our town to fight this issue because
After it's been.
it's their fault.
You know, that's an interesting question because for weeks now, there have been people who have asked the council what the cost has been to fight this lawsuit because really it's the town fighting it. It's not Margaritaville fighting it. I know they're involved in some way, and it is the town that has to, they have a town attorney who's already getting paid, so maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But they've never really come out and said, at least I haven't seen it in a meeting, how much it's costing the town. It is costing the town in lost, businesses, all the other stuff that you really can't calculate accurately that could have been built or would have been at least started as far as construction goes. So anything else you want to add? Because
I know.
we'll have you back on again
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
did.
You did it. Oh, well,
What?
all that studying I did for nothing. Okay.
We'll have you
we'll
on
have you
again.
back on
I
again.
We
hope
got
so.
it. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I don't know. I don't think you've had a candidate yet. I'm the first one, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've had Dan Allers
Oh, that's
and
right,
we've
right,
had Jim
Dan.
Adderholt both on.
You had Jim. Oh, I
Yeah.
wish I'd have heard
But
Jim.
we had Jim on before he announced.
Yeah,
Right,
that's right.
right.
We haven't had him on after he
Jim's
is
a great
announced.
guy.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
guy.
Well, you all are. Everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, it's a good. I think it's a good diverse of the community. From what I see, I don't even know. I've heard a couple of names. I don't even know who those two are.
Well, you know, we know what I like about the town's election, and they're getting ready to change it. Hopefully the people vote it down, is that you have to, there's always, it seems like there's always an election going on. If not every 1 year, every 2 years. And I think that's good. I think it keeps people on their heels. I mean, I know there's
On their toes?
Yeah, on their heels, on their toes, either both. But I think that, you know, they want to have it every 4 years so that there's more time for people to get entrenched in working with the county and working with whatever. But I just think that for people to have to run for election, I think that's a good thing. If you have to be out in front of the people and you want to be elected, you should, the House of Representatives is every 2 years. If a small beach like Fort Myers Beach can't operate every 3 years, it's silly. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and on the voting issue of the two referendums.
Right.
The first referendum, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree going to November.
Sure.
It's expensive.
Makes a lot of sense.
And it costs the town money. So we need to get that in compliance. So it's good. I hate that word compliance. In compliance.
Getting in line with it.
But the second thing is I don't agree with the 4 year term. I agree with the 2 year term. 4 years is a long time to get somebody on the council that's not working out for the town again.
Right.
And you can't get rid of us once we're on there.
That's right.
So I should be for the 4 year term, but I'm for the 2 year term.
Yeah, I hope the people vote that one down. I mean, obviously it makes sense to have an election in November.
Right.
I'm sure there was cost and expenses to move it to March for whatever, but when everybody's going to the polls, go to the polls for whatever. But the 4 year thing, I just think it's.
And if we have to, we'll extend. We can extend the terms of those who are already on the council until that November if they're coming up for review to make it stand out.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right, Forrest,
Wow,
we got to
thank
let you go,
so
man.
much.
We'll have you on again. I'll get with you and we'll schedule after the holidays.
But my closing statement is,
yes.
And the one thing I forgot in my first forum is that whenever in the audience or I've got people listening, I need your vote. I forgot to ask for the vote the first time.
Really?
So this time I'm not going to miss that opportunity to ask for your vote. You want someone that is for the people and for all people on this island, for the voter public, in and around. You'll see me. I'm all over. I'm on the Community Action Resource Board. I've been a part of the Bayfront Project. We was one of the ones that our community is the one that brought it up. I was started with the War Memorial. I wanted it at the fountain, and we got it going. And so we need to get our War Memorial going. And I'm pushing for that. So there's a lot of issues that I really like. I'm a veteran, and we need to work on that issue very much.
Thank you, Forrest. Good luck in the race, and we'll have you back on in January.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got December. We still got more stations or weeks, right? Give me another one this month, okay?
I love it. All right. Have a good one.
Thank you
Have a
so
good holiday
much.
if we don't see you.
Thank you, Beach Talk Radio. You are great.
Oh, stop it.
It's
After
good
you
to
get
have
elected, you're never coming back on
Oh,
again.
yes,
That's the way
I
it
am.
works in this town.
I'm
I know
ready
how
for
it
you
is.
now, P.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Want to also tell you about a couple of our sponsors as we get ready to introduce Dave Drum, who's another candidate. Fort Myers Tiki Tours is open for business, and if you call, you're going to get 10% off. 239-887-0042, 239-887-0042. FortMyersTikiTours.com. 90-minute tiki rides for up to 6 guests per boat. They have 2 party boats out there, and they're located. Let's see. They're located behind, I should know this by heart already. Salty Sam's, is that where it is? Sunset, let's see. I can't believe I don't have it written down here. Anyway, call the number and they'll tell you exactly where it is, or go on their website, FortMyersTikiTours.com, or you can email them at FortMyersTikiTours@gmail.com. So you want to give them a call. You're going to get 10% off. They have 2 party boats. We saw some pictures on Facebook floating around about the folks out there having a great time. You bring your own booze, you bring your own food, and you enjoy the lovely views of Fort Myers Beach. Also, we want to tell you about Shuckers and the Cottage. They are open for Christmas, 8 a.m. to midnight, and they have some awesome stuff going on down at the cottage around Christmas. They have, surf and turf, bacon wrap, filet mignon, wild pink Gulf shrimp, skews, green beans, seasoned new potatoes. They're shutting it down because we're getting a little bit of drizzle. Gravy, cranberry salad, roll, butter, and an apple for only $35. Again, that's Christmas Day, opening at 8 a.m. on Christmas Day. I wonder who's got to work that shift on Christmas Day. They also have, for $27, a ham dinner, which includes ham, fresh green beans, seasoned new potatoes, gravy, cranberry salad, roll, butter, apple pie for only 27 beans. That's right. Shuckers at the Cottage open at 8 o'clock on Christmas Day. And let's now introduce our second guest today, Dave Drum. Dave, how are you? So nice to meet you for the first time.
Hey, how are you, brother?
Doing good. This is my wife.
Well, we met.
We already met.
Oh,
we
that's
discussed
right.
her programs on her phone.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Dave, you own Reflow Plumbing.
I own Reflow Plumbing. I'm a
You're
plumber.
Reflow Dave, is that
I'm
right?
Reflow Dave.
All right.
Name recognition is going to be the issue. Everybody knows Dave. They know Reflow Dave. They know Plumber Dave, but they don't know Dave Drum.
So,
So
tell
now
us
we're putting a face on that.
That's right.
tell us about the business.
It's been a joy. It's I've been down here for 5 years, and I kind of expected to have a small little business and an old man like me running around in a truck, and I only service the beach.
Okay.
And we've just expanded, and it's just been a joy. All the business people that I deal with, and all the people I deal with, all the out of towners I deal with, really keeps me in touch with the entire 6 miles here.
And you decided at some point recently that you wanted to run for town council. Talk about what you were thinking and how it came up.
Thinking?
That's a good way to put it. What were you thinking? This started a long time ago, 2 weeks ago. I had never, ever given a thought to running for any kind of office or anything. I had a couple of my old codger friends, all the old guys like myself, stop by and chit chat, and they're concerned. They have legitimate concerns about everything. This isn't a single issue. We have concerns about traffic in Margaritaville and what Lonnie Kai's going to do this next week, and on and on and on and on. And I'm 68 years old, and it's time to pay back. This is going to hurt my business. It's going to hurt me financially if I'm successful. And somebody needs to do it. It's going to be me.
So let's back up. You said that if something Lonnie Kai is going to do next week. What did you mean by that?
No, not what Lonnie Kai. No.
Okay.
No,
You
I
mean,
said just what
okay.
concerns.
I
of the
thought
people
I
around
thought
me.
I was missing
No,
something
no,
for next
no,
week. So
no.
what is your opinion on the whole Margaritaville situation?
I was going to say Butch taught me that I really should change my answers because I've got a lot of answers that are yes, no, and maybe. So so in regards to Lonnie Kai,
No, Margaritaville.
in regards to Margaritaville,
Yes.
kind of the same thing because we're dealing with. Okay, we can take the position of well, it's here. You know, that's water over the dam. What can we do? I think we did I think the political term is a shitty job on negotiating. But okay, that's what we've got, and we have to deal with it. We have so many other issues to deal with in regards to Margaritaville that nobody's talking about. And it's not water over the dam. There's continuously, it's going to be a hot topic. The police action that's involved, there's going to be more drunken people that are walking down our sidewalks over a long period of time. A whole topic that nobody seems to be talking about at all. We got 2 years worth of construction traffic going to come across this bridge to build the darn thing. What's the plan for that? It's not that the construction workers are going to park a mile away and take a bus. It's not that the company bringing bricks in is going to walk the bricks across the bridge. That's a whole issue. Don't hear that discussed at all.
When you said negotiations, what did you mean by? Did you think that the council that negotiated left some things on the table they could have gotten? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, I do. I mean, as a general thought, not
So-
as a specific. Well, we can say one specific about the number of rooms, the parking in relation to the number of rooms and so forth. I read the whole proposal, about a 100-page proposal, the early proposal. And we're not really far from the original proposal that was brought to us by.
So you still think it's too many rooms?
Only because of the parking. Only because of the parking. I'm all in favor of some more excitement to the beach and people coming down and having a wonderful time. But, for example, in the original proposal, it just makes I laugh about odd things. But they're looking at about the increased traffic. And they went on and on and on to demonstrate that, oh boy, you know, after all this is done, we're only going to have a 0.06 increase in traffic. That's what the study says. And I'm thinking, if we have one car more in my traffic, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't care about a 0.06 increase. It's an increase. Okay, increase in traffic. How do we deal with it? We're not. We need to.
I don't see how the traffic can, I mean, just to, I guess, take the other side, I don't see how the traffic could be any worse. I mean, you can't get on the bridge as it is now. It's not, you think it'd be backed up all the way further? I mean, you're coming during season anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
if the traffic is like that during the off season, don't you think people on the island would be happy? Because the business is coming when typically, I mean, you can drive a truck through this road a couple of months, at least a couple of months out of the year.
No. My trucks are going up and down this road from one end to the other all day long, all year long, every day. And
Well, I hear what you're saying.
We're always in traffic.
Right.
And we also, being in that situation, I could see several possible solutions. But I think it's up for discussion. We need, it's been suggested over and over again that more police control over the traffic, police with authority to summons people. We've heard great recommendations. Matter of fact, on your program, they had I've forgotten the gentleman's name for the committee, but we're talking about having the crosswalks regulated just like a traffic light, where the people will just plain have to wait as the cars move by. We get a better flow. There are several suggestions in there.
Would you be for, I know there's been some discussion about getting the police force, your own police force down here. Is that what you're talking about? Or
no, it's not what I'm
okay.
talking about, but it sure is a
Consideration?
consideration.
I know.
And, I'm just being distracted by all.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, that's we can do a lot with that. Again, all my communications with people on the beach, up and down the beach every day, very often it comes back to, why don't they have a cop over here? Why don't they have a cop over here? How come everybody's yesterday, for an example?
And they're talking about the sheriffs, not
correct.
Okay,
That's
okay.
correct.
A sheriff deputy. Okay.
I have a perfect example. Just yesterday, I was returning to the beach about 11 a.m. And it's a time returning to the beach at 11 a.m. shouldn't be any kind of an issue. But I found the traffic backed up to the other side. So as I get over the bridge, what did I find? There's things that can be dealt with. I found we had a trolley on the right-hand side that couldn't get past a car that had broken down near the Lani Kai. On the left-hand side, we had another trolley that was at an official trolley stop, but not one with a special turn lane, loading a handicapped passenger. So we've got an issue with a car, and I think it was an Uber that broke down there, and we've got two trolleys opposed to each other.
And so it's a real jam there.
Yeah, I mean, if just that one thing, if there was more police there, one sheriff's department employee to direct that situation, we wouldn't have been backed up over the bridge. There's things that we can do. That trolley that I said was stopped to pick up a handicapped person. I mean, that handicap program, that is phenomenal.
Right.
But couldn't the sign say handicap trolley at the designated areas, which would only be about 300 feet up the road? There's ways that we can improve the traffic.
So one last question on the Margaritaville situation. Do you think it's safe to say that you would have voted no if you were on the council at the time it was being proposed the way it was?
From a political point of view, I'd say no. I'd go along with the council. Really, I would have been a pain in the ass on that one. I would have said no, not to deny Margaritaville's existence, not to drive them away, but for a better deal. I really think a better deal could have been had, should have been had.
Okay, so on another topic, this council, I'm sure you've been researching how they've been doing. What's your opinion?
I do have an opinion, and I think, without getting into specifics, I really think that we've got a bunch of good people that have been involved in the town council over and over again, year after year. I really think they're good people. You meet them individually, nice folk. I don't think that they're demanding enough from our own town employees, from our county government. I don't think they're asking the right questions, not to take away from them being nice people and competent people, by the way. Matter of fact, in regards to, I was reading a letter just yesterday, a wonderful letter that was composed by Ms. Gore in regards to water quality and the water releases from the other side of the state. And obviously, it wasn't all her information, but she had researched and she had presented to the state some dramatic reasons why we down here, we need some help on the water releases out of the Okeechobee. Anyway, phenomenal job. That was an example of wonderful thing done. But did I agree with everything she did? Did I agree with everything Dennis did? Did I agree with what happened last night with the parking Nazi? I don't know.
Somebody watched the video. And I rest my case.
Yeah, you coined the phrase, not me. You coined
Yeah.
the phrase.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how would you rate the council?
Right now?
Yeah.
I put him in a 7 or 8. Yeah.
Not
I put
bad.
her a 7 or 8. Yeah.
Town manager. Worth $180,000 a year with a.
Yeah, I heard you asking Butch that, and I was thinking that today, no, 180,000, the dollar amount, that doesn't shake me at all. I mean, you need competent people. You're not going to get competent people.
When you
at
say
minimum.
doesn't shake me, what do you mean by that?
I don't think that's too much money.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's too much money. I really don't. We're on the beach.
I don't even think the president gets paid that much.
Yeah, we're on the beach.
Well, maybe this president doesn't deserve it or does. I'm not getting on one side or the other, but
We're on the beach. It's pretty expensive. to be
I
on the
think
beach.
I'm the
It really
only
is.
one that doesn't think he deserves 180,000. That's the conclusion I've come to. At least
Well,
the only one saying it.
Any manager is going to serve at the pleasure of the council.
True, yeah.
So those things
True.
are fluid. They can change.
Right.
And if I had 4 other council members that said this is just too much money, I think I could be persuaded to
Yeah.
the point of view too.
Gotcha. Go ahead, dear.
No,
you have
no,
another
go
question?
ahead.
So the top issues facing the beach are, in your opinion, going into 2020?
There's so many things. It's really a matter of looking at what we're doing. Let me just back up and say traffic. We have issues with the lighting on the road. Are we waiting?
Oh boy, do you.
Are we waiting for somebody to get killed out here? Are we waiting?
I think they are.
It's nuts.
Because one turtle's
nuts.
life is more precious than a human life.
Well, I've had a suggestion. Obviously it's not real, but a damn good suggestion in regards to the turtles. The people that are protecting the turtles are doing a phenomenal
For sure
job.
they are. For
If
sure.
we put those people in charge of the road.
That's right. That's a great idea. Then humans would be just as
Yes,
safe on this.
exactly. And anyway,
Nothing against the turtles, but
that's a big
I
thing.
get the impression that they can't figure out how to resolve the situation with the lights on Estera Boulevard until they can figure out how the lights affect the turtles. Because if they could, there'd be lights on. If there were no turtles, there'd be lights up.
But I think from watching this fine radio program 2 weeks ago, there's a lot of information to be had
Oof.
there in regards to the lighting. And it seems like I don't have the official word, but it seems like the amber lighting and the proper spacing, that's all been
Look that.
roughly looked at as far
Mhm.
as, it's an appropriate way to go. And I think the bottom line there was, okay, we've got a plan, but nobody's written a check for $700,000 to do it.
Well, yeah.
I think that's where we are. But nonetheless, all this talk. We have no lights today.
That's exactly right. That's
We
exactly
have
the
no
way I
lights
feel.
today on our roads.
There are no lights.
And we have elderly people. We have young people on bicycles. We have all kinds of people
Now,
that
you wanna-
shouldn't be in the middle of a construction zone, no less have no lights in the middle of it.
You want to talk about confusion when
Oh.
you're in full season and cars are going both ways and people are walking and you're trying to ride a bike. You have no clue where to go because you're not supposed to ride a bike on the sidewalk because the people are walking. But if you get in that road, nobody's going to see you.
Just a couple days ago, I saw in a jammed up section up the road. It was delightful because I saw a fellow on a 3-wheeler bike that was actually blocking bike traffic, and thusly blocking car traffic.
Sure.
It was like we need to do
It's total
something.
confusion.
We need
But
to
I do have
something.
to say that when they finish the roads down past the confusion here with the bike lanes and all that, it's fabulous. I mean, the road is fabulous.
I hope, but that's a good point. When I say I hope, I've been sitting on this beach, working on this beach, living on this beach, hoping for a lot of things. Hope ain't cutting it. I think I want to get up there and do a little more than hope.
What are some of the other issues that feel like you need
There's a very
tackling?
Yeah, I really hate to go on and on, but there's another huge issue: code enforcement.
Oh,
Now-
yeah.
Now, I probably take a different view than a lot of people.
Okay.
Code enforcement, it solidifies the value of your community. You need code enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
All they are doing is taking the code that's come out of the town hall and they are enforcing it. It's the manner that it's enforced that I believe is the real issue. And it's so simple in regards to, if you look up code enforcement mediation, just Google it. you'll find out that many cities, one of them you can look up, Beaverton, Oregon, I believe it was. What do they have? They have a plan for code enforcement that smells just like our plan.
Yeah.
Just the way we handle it, without going into all the details, except they have a voluntary mediation program. When somebody gets a sticker on their door for some sort of violation through code enforcement, they have this voluntary, cost the town nothing, voluntary.
Please fix it. Be nice. Be a nice neighbor at first.
Have a media, and it's again going on. There's a pledge to privacy and so on and so forth. People can call that number and say, "What do I do?
Right.
I have a
Right.
violation. What do I do next?"
Well, I think there's a certain group of people on the beach that feel like it's
put
just
upon.
what?
That they're put upon.
Yeah, that they're
code.
coming after them. That,
Well,
that I don't know. I mean, some
On-
people say it, other people don't.
On
So
Sunday afternoon, when code enforcement comes riding down your street, eyeballing you, you have to have a little
What?
bit of annoyance about
well,
it.
that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
but on the other hand, if you back up and say we need codes, and those codes, if we wrote them,
Right.
they need to be enforced or they need to be eliminated. Code enforcement is
so what's your resolution?
my resolution is just what I was saying about
Yeah, that
the
voluntary.
mediation.
Okay.
The mediation.
Has it ever come up before that you've heard down here?
No, that
Okay.
makes you wonder, doesn't it?
I wonder about a lot of things.
Yeah,
but-
well, I do too. Yeah, I was joking around. I said I've only been a politician for 2 weeks, so this is new to me. But I want to just say I'm the common sense candidate. I don't have all the answers.
common sense candidate. You should put that on a
There we
sign.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Two
have all the
answers
answers.
Yes.
today.
So do you have like a Facebook page? Do you have a $1 million budget to spend on TV ads? I mean, what's your plan here? You going door to door?
Yeah.
So is
Yeah,
this guy? Go ahead.
Yeah, matter of fact, I've got 8 kids, and they're all so busy with their
Oh no way!
yeah, and they're also
Wow,
they're
you were
also,
busy when you were younger, man. Holy moly, 8
They're
kids.
all so busy with their lives. And
Yeah.
They're having a wonderful time. They're such successful kids. They're doing great.
They live on the beach.
No, they're everywhere else.
Oh,
But you know, when I all
What's
these
their
last
problem
few
with the
weeks, I said, all these last few weeks when I said, "Hey, guess what your dad's going to do?"
Uh-huh.
They 2 of them, actually 3 of them, I've already said that. Hey, I'll take time out of my life. I'll come down there, Dad.
Nice.
Yeah. What day can I be? there?
nice
So I think maybe that says something good about me, but I think it says something great about my kids.
for sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Which
so
says
that will
something
be-
good about you.
Well, I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so. So that's really my plan. They're going to come down. We're in the early part of January. We're
Yeah.
going to get wound up and get moving. It really is handshakes
is.
and T-shirts.
Got to get the word out.
Handshakes and T-shirts. My problem really has been the drum thing. I'm not just Dave the plumber or Reflow Dave.
Well,
I'm
you're hard
Dave
to
Grubb.
find on.
Yeah, you're not.
Google
On, you're
search.
really
You're-
not much on the
really
Facebook
do not
thing.
have a
And
footprint out there.
The funny part about advertising a business, I started by spending a lot of time and money on advertising my business.
Uh huh.
I got busy so fast. I spent the last 3 years shutting it all down. As
Yeah.
much as just
Yeah,
shut it down.
too
I don't
much.
need. I've got enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got enough.
Now
So-
you know who his. Didn't you share with me that
Yeah.
you do have a special neighbor and friend? Isn't
Oh yeah. Well, wait, I briefly mentioned them before. The are
go ahead and say who it is.
We're
I'm on
gonna-
the edge of
yeah.
my seat here.
we're gonna use your term. We're
Yes.
gonna use your term.
use his
The
term?
soup Nazi lives next to
Parking
you.
Nazi.
Wow, is he really that crazy?
Yes.
He is.
Yes.
Does he yell at you across the yard?
Not me, but everybody else. Yeah.
Why?
He's friends.
A matter of fact,
How do you get along with him?
maybe that's my big plus here. I do get along.
Wow.
On the way down here today, I stopped by and I said, "Listen, I saw you on TV, brother." I said, "Yeah, you look the fool on TV."
What did he say?
Well, he handed me all his legal paperwork I put in the truck outside. I haven't had a chance to read it.
He's suing you for saying that?
No. The reason why I even talked to him was because here's an odd thing. What's our problem in town? Parking. That's what Lonnie Kai's concerned about. That's what everybody's concerned about. And they're shutting him down. Maybe it's all legitimate. Maybe that's it. But we're going to shut down a parking lot?
Well, he's not sharing any of that revenue. I
Again,
mean,
I don't.
from what I understand, I could be wrong, is that we're talking about, if you haven't seen the video, go back a couple in our video section to see. I snipped apart from the LPA meeting where he lost his cool.
Oh.
I forget his name. I'm sorry. I didn't really know who he was until the other
I don't
night.
want to advertise him.
And he owns the
shopping center.
lot, the shopping center next to Goods,
Yes.
and there's a Mr. Tequila is in there,
Correct.
right? Is
Correct.
is that his restaurant?
No. He has no connection with any of the businesses.
Oh, okay. So
No.
he just owns the building.
He
So
just owns the property.
he has really, like, that's the only, what I was told is that's pretty much the only place left on the beach where you can get a retail spot, but nobody wants to go in there because he's he's
Yeah.
a hard person to rent from
again,
what I understand.
Again, taking his personality, which is undeniable, take that out of the equation. Say, we need parking. Now, if you want to complain about that, say, well, let's charge him a higher fee so he can still continue. He can continue to make money.
But the town's got to get its cut.
Sure,
That's just the way government
whatever's-
works. They got to get their
whatever's fair.
envelope.
I really don't know the details except for, yeah, he's a grumpy Gus. And
Wow,
on the
that's
other
such a
hand, we need
shame.
parking.
That's such a shame. Well, from what I heard, he was making $4,000 a month off just the parking, and I mean, it's
Well, I don't-
primo parking. It's in the perfect spot. You walk right across
I
to
know
see
you don't
gypsies
get
there.
anywhere
and-
near there because
we've seen whatever, but
Yeah,
that's besides the point. That has nothing to do with your candidacy.
Well, it
Unless,
does because of
Yeah.
the parking. The parking.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It's the Lonnie Kai issue is a parking issue. That Margaritaville.
well,
is
it's
a
more than
parking
that.
issue.
It's like an eyesore
Of
issue
course,
too.
it's more
But
than that.
yeah,
But it's parking and parking and parking.
well, Margaritaville is going to have a parking garage.
Yeah, and I don't know how that finally got decided. Whether it was that they're going to use this double-decker system in parking, or nonetheless, the numbers don't add up to me. 250 rooms, and you're going to shove them underneath this building. I don't.
They're just going to crush the cars when you come in. They're just going to crush the cars
Now
and then
that, my
never
friend,
leave. Yeah.
that, my friend, I would go
Yeah.
along with. That'd be a great. idea.
Oh, so anything else you want the people to know? Of course, we're going to have you back on before the election, but what else? This is our first introduction to our 7 million viewers out there, or 7, whatever they are. And
Well, we've got at least a good
Yeah,
crowd inside
yeah,
here
yeah.
today.
it's so, what's that? Oh, they're all here now. And it's your first shot at politics. And I mean, it's not like running in a national election where people are going to start, picking on you and things like that. It's really I hate to say it like this, but at some point you got to knock on doors and you got to convince people. And it's almost a popularity contest to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, and you remember, I know everybody.
Yeah. Well,
They-
yeah. You're
I
out
know
there.
I know
You're
everybody.
knocking on their toilets.
That's right. I'm
You're
talking.
cleaning the shit out of them,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Hey,
exactly. Yeah.
if you got nothing else, you got that. My toilet works again, and I'm voting for that guy. You should come up with a catchy slogan like "I'm number one in the number two business," right? I know that's
Yeah,
an old
sure.
one, but
Force those candidates.
yeah,
pick us. We're
that's
the
right.
best.
Well, I
Sure,
love that.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
we'll do some funny
name-
commercials that way.
My name's Drum. You can't beat it. Yeah,
I don't get that one.
You can't beat a drum.
Can't beat a drum.
Rome? What is it?
Drum.
Oh, I thought he said Rome.
Oh, come
I
on.
gotta
Boy,
clean
he
out my
doesn't even
ears
have
here.
Ruined
Nobody
the
has
whole
my
thing.
name. Drum.
Got it. Yeah. Wow. Good
You
luck
are
to you.
Silly.
All right.
Thank you so much for
We
coming
done?
on. It's
Yeah.
been a half hour. I mean, these half hours have gone by
I
so
don't know. I
fast
think you
today.
asked some far more intense questions.
I
than
know.
you did.
The first time around, though, I try to
I think Bruce
introduce.
wore you out. I mean, Bush
Well,
wore you out.
No, he
No, 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 no.
filibustered a little bit at the beginning. I had to chop him down.
Have you
Charming
been
guy,
on
charming
any of the council, not the council, but any of the other committees like CRAB?
No,
or,
none, zero, zip.
Okay.
He's
How
going to drain the
irresponsible-
swamp,
How
dear.
irresponsible is it of it? I mean, I've been aware.
Well, no.
I've been following, but I've been busy running my business.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know
something
if that's you don't.
I don't
It doesn't
know that
have to
that's
be
a drawback.
prerequisite.
Right.
Like,
A pre-
yeah.
What?
A prerequisite.
Okay.
So he's going to drain the swamp down there.
Hey, one thing you were asking Butch about that I thought was important. This idea of the referendum on changing the election.
Okay.
Just a thought to add in there, which when I read it, the first thing I see is, are we going to associate our town elections with national elections? And therefore it's going to be, well, whoever the guy spent the most money to get elected president is going to sweep in those candidates. I think we should be scared about that.
Really?
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
looked at it that way. I just looked
Yeah.
at it like you're more likely to have more voters
Well,
at
if you've
that
ever been
point.
in the voting booth for a national election like me, I know I'm like, okay, the top of the list,
This is-
and as you
well-
get down to the bottom, you just start checking names.
That's true. That
You
is
know?
true. But I wouldn't do that on the. I don't. That's a good point. I never thought of that.
And that's the only thing
Yeah.
that scares me about that.
Well, they better explain the referendums clearly and get the word out so that people understand what they're voting
if
for.
I understand it more, I can get the word out.
Because if
Yeah.
they don't even understand the referendum, then
Right.
they're just going to do what you said.
Sure.
I mean, and the few people that get out there a lot will say. I mean, the council I think is in favor of changing it. I don't know if they all are, but I know. I mean, they wouldn't be trying to get this through if they weren't. But I never even thought of that. And it is kind of cool for you guys to have your own election because then it's just
And
you're
but-
not
And
mired
what
in
you
all the
mentioned,
other
well,
crap.
save money on the, and that's a valid point. That's a
Say,
valid
which way
point.
are you saving money? In
Well, you
March or in
mentioned- you
November? I
mentioned-
don't know
If
if
you
you're
do it
saving
in-
money.
Yeah.
Well, if you do it in November,
Well, it
Yeah, if you
costs money to
combine the
get it
elections-
changed,
if
though.
you combine the elections,
Yeah.
you are saving
Right.
a few dimes.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's worth it.
Listen, when
Anyway,
you're paying the town manager $180,000,
You're
who
hung up
gives a?
on that.
I know
You're
I
hung
am.
up on
Well,
that.
there's a long
Really?
story behind that. and I'm never gonna let it go. So, do you know he has a summer house in Belize?
oh my goodness.
Yes,
heard that.
yes.
I
I'm
heard
sure it's
that.
quite nice.
I heard that.
So, Dave, where can people find you, being that you're not on the Facebook?
Nobody. They'll find me walking up and down the street.
Well, you
That's
gotta-
really
you
about it.
wanna
I
give-
don't have a big, sophisticated plan. Maybe it'll develop into one, but
You're gonna have some signs and T-shirts.
yeah,
and,
we'll be doing the whole T-shirt sign, ball cap,
You see,
walking
that's-
around town.
That's the thing where I guess you got to have signs because everybody has signs, but that's where I think you might, my opinion, not you, but you're wasting money. Because everybody's got
But
signs
you
and then they're
always-
like, and
But
then
you
they're like,
always said the lawn signs worked great.
well, we
when
were running
had
a
our
business, but I wasn't
know.
running for
But
election.
I think if he has a catchy,
I don't know because they're, you know
They
what's
Come
gonna,
up with one.
you know what's-
Email
no,
me.
you
Email me.
came up with a bunch.
then there are signs everywhere, and then people start stealing each other's signs, and you know,
You're kind of negative.
Yeah, you
now,
are.
no, there's just got to be
Yeah,
a
no,
different
there's
way. There's got
negativity.
to be a different way. Like stand on the corner with a bullhorn or
What do you want
something
him
like
to do?
that. or-
Fly one of those banners.
That'd be
up
cool.
there?
Different. You got to be
Hey,
different.
airplane. I have
You
a
got to be
pilot's
different.
license. Maybe I could.
You
There
do.
you go.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. Drop
Yeah,
candy
grab
on
one of those
everybody.
banners.
Oh, yeah.
Drop dollars on everybody.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a heck of a tactic.
Dollars with your face on them.
Okay, you two are going too far.
All right, Dave.
Too
Well, Dave,
far.
you want to give out your phone number, or you're going to be so people can
Or your
contact you?
email address.
Anything.
Sure, but it's
What-
let's
it's up
wait.
to
Let's
you.
wait until we get
All
rolling.
right.
in
You don't want
January.
anybody to know who
Because
the hell you are.
Right now,
That's fine.
I'm
Your secret
a plumbing
candidate.
company, and I don't
Yeah.
want to get like
You're a
an
public
advertisement
company. What's your
company.
stock price? at?
Plumbing.
Oh,
company.
plumbing. Sorry. God, I got it. My ears fixed.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
have to work
Dave.
on my
I
diction.
apologize to
No,
you.
your
Is it his
diction is
hearing
your
or my
diction,
diction?
is fine. Your
He's-
diction is fine.
All right,
got-
can I
no.
run out of here now?
Yes.
Thank you, Dave. Good
Thank
luck
you
in the
so much.
race.
Thank
We
you
look
so
forward to having
much.
you on a couple more times and seeing you at the forums and all that. Everybody, Dave Drum running for town council. Look at you, got a studio audience already. Wow. Phew. That was awesome. What do you have to say for yourself?
Nothing. They were both
I know.
so friendly.
Yes, they're
And
both.
they both have smiling eyes.
It's just going to be the same thing. Like after everybody gets elected, that who the hell is Beach Talk
No,
Radio,
I don't
and are
believe
they
that.
behind the red
I
line
don't
in
believe
Times
that.
Square?
I
Yeah.
believe that they are very genuine people who will be friends
Well, we
of
can't
the
vote for
show.
everybody.
Well, we can't vote for anybody. But
So now we have Dan, we have Jim Adderholt, we have Butch, and we have Mr. Drum.
Yeah.
That's 4 for
Three for a
3
day.
seats. Who would you vote for today? If you could vote, who would you vote for?
I have to
Consult
we have to
your
go further. I have
Oh.
to look at all the candidates.
So next week we have Carol on. I don't want to say Carol's name wrong. Carol Whitfield is the co-owner of the Shamrock down the
Right.
street. Carol Whitfield is running, and so we're going to have her on. But I didn't even tell you this. We have somebody on who claims that they have developed some kind of technology that gets rid of red tide, and they're going to be our
Wow.
guest. Yeah, it's got federal funding and all kinds of money behind it.
Do you
and
know is it a barrier
I can't tell you that.
system
I
or
can't
a
tell you that.
chemical?
I can't tell you that.
That's because you don't know.
I don't really know.
I'm doing.
I've
the
been so
research
focused
this.
on making sure I didn't piss off the guy at 8:30, Anthony Romaldi. I mean, that was
If
scaring
you get
me.
out of line,
I
I'm
know.
calling him.
He goes, "You can call me Anthony." I said, "There's not a chance I'm calling you Anthony. It's Mr. Romaldi or Sir. That's the only thing I'm ever going to call you." And then he said at the end of the interview, "You can call me anytime." And I'm like, I'm about to burn my phone right now. I'm never going to accidentally butt dial him. Can you imagine if you butt dial the enforcer for the
No.
Colombo crime family? That would be the biggest mistake of your life. So chili contest tonight, everybody. We're going to be at the Women's Club tonight where
Mhm.
unfortunately we're making vegetarian chili.
No, I didn't do it
Oh, you put meat in it.
because you said.
Yeah, because they told me that the
now I'm
vegetarian
not
chili
eating
was a
it.
bomb last year. Nobody wanted the vegetarian chili.
I heard.
They want meat. People want meat.
I heard that you came in last.
Yeah, I
last
came
year.
in last because my sister put my sister put meatballs, the hot dogs in the chili. Who puts hot dogs in chili? Raise your hand. Nobody. I'm sorry, Pastor. I'm sorry. He's not the pastor. I could edit that out. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Take that back, everybody. The hot dogs. Don't put
Good
hot dogs in your
Lord.
chili. It made this table crack up. They were surprised. The FCC's coming down on us now, huh?
Now you're gonna have to call the enforcer.
So yeah, I'm gonna need some help with that jit pie. So what is in the chili?
Now everything is in the chili because it started out as vegetarian, and then at the last minute you threw your little baby fit,
Okay.
and so I was forced to put meat in it. So now it has 9,000 different kinds
Okay.
of beans in it.
You printed something out from the internet.
Yeah.
From the World Wide Web last week. It
Right.
was like a list of 50 things. So
Yeah.
every Friday morning I go to Walmart and I buy the same things. I buy rice cakes, I buy Monster,
What's
I
your
buy
point?
eggs. And now I'm going to the Walmart with this list of 50 things. I have no idea a can of garbanzo beans, a can of white kidney beans, red kidney beans, black beans. And then there's I've never bought
Chulo.
garlic. I've never bought garlic at a store in my life. I didn't even know where to go. Where do you buy the garlic?
It's in the produce section.
Yeah, I couldn't find the garlic. I found the onions and the peppers, but I didn't find any garlic. So there's garlic in the chili too, I guess.
Yes.
Did you find any garlic? So was it
We had
turkey or
garlic.
was it beef?
It's beef.
So the chili contest,
Turkey, has a weird texture.
the chili contest is tonight at the Women's Club,
Mhm.
which they have a whole gigantic weekend going on there.
I don't know why you do this because we know it's well established that I'm not a
Oh, yeah.
cook.
Well, no.
So I don't know.
And please, if you're going to the chili
Test it at your
contest,
own risk.
do not vote for Reed at the SOB. He's a cheater.
He's
He
not a
cheats.
cheater. He's a
Last
winner.
year, he cheated. Last year, see, they put us in a tent, and last year, he was outside the tent. So everybody got
Dear-
to taste Ace SOB chili first. It wasn't like they
You
had to
should have
search
been
around
in the next-
inside.
you should have been in the
for the
next parking
tent.
lot.
They got the SOB chili first, and then they got full on the SOB chili because he kept shoving it in their face. And so, what's that? Well, that's a good thing now. Well, that's what happened last year. They had vegetarian chili, and it was a bomb. It was nobody wants like vegetarian chili. They think they're gonna get sick or something.
Have you ever tried it?
No.
Have you ever tried
She
it?
is.
Oh my goodness.
She is. Me. That's like calling me a vulgar name. How dare you? Called me a Democrat.
I'm going to show you some videos of what happens, and then
Oh.
that's it.
Of what?
The poor animals.
Oh, the poor animals. All of a sudden, you've been eating chicken and fish all your life. All
Now
of a
my
sudden,
eyes
you're an
have been
animal
opened.
lover. So what'd you think when you saw the dead manatee on the beach this
That was
morning?
disturbing.
Did you guys see the
that was
picture on the
disturbing.
Facebook page that we
You
put?
didn't
I put it up
post it?
there. It was hard to
Ah.
see. Like it had no head.
It scared me. I mean, running up on it, I was. At first
Did you
I
jump
thought,
over it like you were in the Olympics?
No. I thought it was a sand sculpture of
Oh.
a manatee,
Yeah.
and as I got closer,
Well, how do you think the
upon
head
further
came
review,
off?
I think.
You think
that,
Anthony Raimondi was down here?
No, I think other animals. That's what happens.
The whole head?
Well, I don't know if it went in one fell swoop.
I mean, how do you think they caught the manatee, though? I mean, what happened? You think it got caught in a boat somehow and then it was floating there?
I
And-
think that's the job of FWC
Yeah.
and those
How do you do-
scientists, the forensic people, to figure out what caused the death. And I don't know if they can, because I do know that when they list the manatee deaths, there's a lot that are undetermined.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Did
what
you
came
stop? Were there
first?
flies all over it and everything? Or
No,
was there any insides left?
Yeah, I'm not having this discussion with you.
You don't think those are interesting questions? Like
No.
the insides were not in there.
That part was intact.
The insides. Did you get down and look
No.
inside?
I
just
ran
kept running.
by. I
You took a picture?
to send it to you to have somebody come down and cover it. But by the time I had turned around and come back,
It was
the
gone.
beach patrol people
Wow.
were there. They had the poor remains covered with a blue tarp. They had it.
Oh wow.
They had
They were quick
tape,
action. You
the
think they
caution
saw the
tape
picture
around
on our
there.
Facebook page and they went running down there?
I thought
Was
maybe
Roger
you
there?
called somebody. No, it's the guys
Holding
that are
everybody
always
off?
No, it's guys that up or down. But
All right.
that's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing. You don't want disease and stuff like that. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the chili contest is like 4:30, 5
That's
o'clock.
a rough segue.
Yeah. Well, there's not going to be any manatee chili, at least that I know of. I mean, that would be bad. Come on, I'm kidding. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. It's time for us to go. When she walks away, it's always time to go. We'll see you next Saturday at 9 o'clock, and at 8:30 we'll have our podcast interview. Go ahead.
I apologize to all the people listening for
Oh.
your comments.
You see, I have
today.
no sense of humor. Bye bye.
You have no sense